Hey guys, me Dave. It's 5/18/2020. Oh, there's not a whole lot going on, but um, it's Monday today. They kind of been laying off me today, which is surprising. They haven't hit me too bad today, thank God. It hasn't been that bad. It's actually been a really boring day. I took Tanner out, went for a walk and stuff like that. Went for a little ride and kind of break up the day a little bit and you get sick of sitting around here. They won't let me work. They won't let me work. They won't let me go out there and get a job. Every place I apply it, they go to, and they should be knocking down my door because I have lots of experience in the field that I'm applying at. Well, nobody's knocking down my door. Nobody calls me back. Nobody does anything. Nobody's offering me a job or anything. I have a decent resume, even though I have some gaps in there because of this program. You know, it's nobody calls me for a job. It's I'm kind of shit out of luck. SOL. As far as that goes. Other than that, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to talk about. I just thought I'd do a little video. One thing that was on my mind is, do they target our family members? I kind of did a video a while back on this, but do they target our family members? It's hard to say. Like I mentioned before, there could be a married couple and they seem to target one person and not the other. I don't know why that is. And you know, well, thankfully they don't try to break up that marriage, but one person seems to get targeted, like the wife, and the husband doesn't. And maybe the husband doesn't understand what the wife is going through because she's being targeted and stuff like that. That's pretty common. I hear that a lot out there in the community. Um, Me myself, well, of course I'm single, so I don't have to worry about that. But I have two brothers and two sisters. Do I worry about them getting targeted? Of course I do. There's been some things that have went on that made me question, are they getting targeted? Is my brother getting targeted? Maybe he's a target like me, and they just have him in a different program, and because he's married and has kids and all this stuff, he's a grandfather. My brother is a grandfather. Both my brothers are grandfathers. um Maybe they don't target them. Maybe they target them in a different way to, where they really don't know they're being targeted. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I really don't know. Have I had some suspicions about it? Yes, I have. You know, um, my mom, she tells me about some situations and stuff like that. Well, um, it sounds like street theater. Maybe she doesn't. She won't talk about this with me. If I try to mention what's going on with me, she's like, "I don't believe it. I don't want to believe it. I don't know what's going on. Blah blah blah. You're mentally ill and all this stuff." She knows better. She's involved. She's involved. But are they targeting her? I don't know. There's been a big question mark about that. Do they target our parents? Our parents are they're kind of helping us. They're not really against us, but at the same time, they're like, I don't believe you, and blah blah blah. Well, so they're kind of against us in that sense. You know, my family knows what's going on with me. They know I'm not mentally ill. I've never had a problem until I was in my 40s. I never had mental illness, until my 40s. I never been locked up in a psych ward in my life until I'm in my 40s. You know, I've never had any problems in my life. You know, my family knows better, but they're playing along. They're playing along with this program. Are they getting threatened? Are they getting paid? I have no idea what they're being told, but they are playing along. So there's a little part of me where it's like, oh my gosh, it's what they my mom told me. She told me that she almost seen a fight in front of her house. you know uh you know is it street theater? It could be. Does she know that? Maybe they want me to think my family's being targeted and they're really not. It's such a big psyop. It's a big web of deception and manipulation, just like Brian 2 says. And it's a big web of deception. It's they can make you think certain things that aren't really happening. They can bring out the suspicion of something. Maybe they're just being told to say these things to get reactions out of you. That could be it. To get reactions out of you. you know what's really crazy is a couple months ago, my mom had to pay her property taxes. So she's like, will you take me down to the courthouse so I can pay my property taxes so I don't have to park, pay for parking or find a parking spot, because it's always busy down there. We just drop me off in front of the courthouse. I'll go in and pay my property taxes, and then I'll call you when I get out. You know what happened? She went in to the courthouse. This is what she told me. Okay, she told me this. She went into the courthouse, and a man walked in before her and held the door open for her. When they got inside, you had 6 or 7 cops with rifles and guns drawn and saying, put your hands up, freeze, put your hands up, get on the ground, blah, 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 put your hands out, get on the ground, blah, 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 doing all these demands, and they took the guy in custody, and my mom was scared shitless, put her hands up, she put her hands up because she didn't know what to do, was that street theater? I don't know. It's possible. Would they go that far to do street theater? In my program, yes, they would. But see, I don't want to say it was because I don't want to sound paranoid. Maybe, this guy was wanted, and maybe she just happened to be there. And maybe she got caught up in that. But at the same time, would they do that for street theater? Yes, they would. I've seen these guys fake car accidents. I've seen these guys fake overdoses in my program to get reactions out of you. And of course I don't react because, well, I mean, I react a little bit, but I'm not like, oh, but do they get little reactions out of me? Yes, they do. And they do little things like, they staged a car accident one time on the main road. Guy was facing the other way. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he ran into a tree or I don't know what the deal was. But they didn't have a regular fire truck there. They had a I don't know, it was kind of yellowish green fire truck there, which means it could be volunteer or something. We don't have volunteers in our city. We have 86,000 people in our city. We don't have volunteer firefighters in our city. So that kind of stood out. Like, well, that's kind of weird. Why would they have that fire truck and not have a regular fire truck there? And they brought the guy out on a stretcher and he was talking and all this stuff. It was just, you could kind of tell it was street theater to get reactions out of you. The guy seemed fine. I mean, they took him in a stretcher and all this stuff, and all this stuff. But I don't want to sound like a jerk because it could have been real. Maybe the guy really was hurt and stuff like that. And I don't want to sound like a jerk and say, oh, it was street theater. I don't know if it really was or not. Maybe the guy was hurt, and I hope he wasn't hurt. So they do certain things in these programs. I've heard it from several TIs. They stage car accidents and all this stuff, and they really do that type of stuff. For reactions. So when my mom went to the courthouse and they had their guns drawn and they took that guy down and all that stuff, my mom's sitting there, well, I have my hands up. She put her hands up and stuff because she was so scared. And then she came out and told me about it, and the cops were walking around the parking lot. They had big old rifles, and stuff that they had on their shoulders and stuff like that. I'm sitting here like, what the heck's going on? All these cops are on there. They're parked on the sidewalk and they're all over the place. And they took this guy down. Would they do that for street theater? It's possible. Do they do that kind of stuff? It is possible. I'm a big target. I wouldn't put it past these guys to do something like that for reactions. They have done stuff like that in the past. They'll have fire trucks and they'll have police officers come and they'll have, they'll make a big scene for reactions, and they will actually do this stuff. I don't want to sound like a jerk and say everything is street theater and nobody gets hurt and all this stuff. I hope nobody gets hurt. If somebody does get hurt, I feel bad for them. I feel sorry for them. So you have to be really careful how you talk about this stuff so you don't sound paranoid, but at the same time, this program is made to make you look paranoid. They do the unbelievable in this program. They do unbelievable things in this program to make you look paranoid. That's part of it, to discredit you. The goal is to discredit you. If you say something, you're going to look paranoid, and boom, you're automatically discredited. So nobody will believe you. That's the way this whole program's made to be. Just like Brian too says, deception and manipulation. A lot of deception going on. And they will do crazy things to, I think it serves multiple purposes. I think they're getting reactions out of you. I think they're discrediting you at the same time. And I think it serves many purposes. They could put the fear in you, or they could make you feel empathy, because we have all those feelings. They can make you feel empathy for the victim, and they could be measuring that in your brainwaves. You maybe get spikes. They could be measuring your spikes, that you're getting. They could be measuring all kinds of data to go back into the supercomputer or wherever the data is going, So, it's, you have to be really careful how you talk about things, because you don't want to sound like a jerk and say, well, this guy overdosed, maybe it's all fake. Hopefully the guy really didn't overdose. and maybe it's street theater. I mean, the guy is laying in the front yard, overdosing. You know, and here's an fire truck and ambulance and all this stuff. I hope the guy's all right. But could it be street theater? It's possible. It's possible. It's hard to think everything's a coincidence. In this program, because there's so much misconception in this program, manipulation, and it's crazy. It really is crazy. So it's I thought I would talk about that a little bit. I'm sure you guys have been there. I've seen videos where other people film car accidents. Do they do that sometimes? It's possible. It's possible. Not everything is fake. Not everything is fake. I hope people don't really get hurt. But do they do certain stuff like that? If the car ain't that banged up or something like that, it could be street theater. But there could be also a real accident. We hope people don't really get hurt out there. And you don't want to sound like a jerk and say everything's fake, because everything is not fake. Things really do happen in front of you and stuff where, I mean, things happen in front of me before where it's like, wow, that is real. There's a real car accident. I hope that person is okay. I've seen several real car accidents. But if you bump a tree and your car's not injured and they're taking you to the hospital, it's a, kind of like an act going on, and there's not a real fire truck there. There's like a volunteer fire truck, stuff like that. There's signs that could be like, well, that could be fake, but they're doing all these things that bring out all certain, different emotions out in you to measure. Are they bringing up spikes? What are they doing? To go into their database. So I just thought I would talk about that for a minute. I kind of been rambling on about that. Other than that, there's not much going on. They've been kind of laying off me today. It was actually a real boring day. I woke up. I've been up since 6 o'clock in the morning. I tried getting back to sleep and taking a couple naps. They wouldn't let me sleep. I mean, I'm laying down, shutting my eyes, and here comes the images of past memories and past girls that I've dated and all this stuff, and and they're throwing all these past memories. Maybe they're not so good memories. You don't really want to remember them, but they're throwing them in your head and they're keeping you up, and they're like, it's almost like a looping pattern where they're doing it, and it's like boom, 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 all these memories, to keep you up, get reactions out of you, all this stuff, manipulate you while you're trying to lay down and take a nap. I tried taking like 3 naps today, and they weren't letting it happen. They would, when I'm awake, they didn't hit me that bad, but when I would lay down and shut my eyes, here comes the images and memories and past memories. It's, and it's boom, 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 boom in my head, where you can't, you're just laying there and try not to focus on what they're putting in your head, and listening to, static, white noise, whatever you're trying to listen to, really didn't help. I mean, the images were still coming in, nonstop and stuff. It's kind of a day that I've had today. So anyway, I'm gonna cut this off, you guys. I've been talking and babbling for 20 minutes, so I'm gonna cut this off. I hope you guys doing well out there and staying safe out there, and it's, this is coming out. I mean, it's coming out slowly, but people are complaining about this, making videos about this and all this stuff, and hopefully it'll come out sooner or later. It's gotta, You know, I guess we just have to stay positive. It's hard to stay positive, but I guess we have to stay positive and stuff. We have our tough days. Believe me, I've had mine and stuff. So hang in there, you guys, and we'll get through this. But I'm gonna talk to you guys later.